me a table for 1 o'clock in the Atlantic. I'm having lunch with Marla.
Morning.
So get me the latest booking figures on her tour. Get me a fresh shirt, get me some aspirin, get me a bottle of Dettol, and get me the trades. And get me a coffee. And I am in a meeting all morning to absolutely everybody, except Elton, if he ever calls back.
Your wife's in there.
Now look what I'm stuck with.
Marla, a few words for the viewers tonight.
I made you Marla Darland. What were you before you met me?
Mavis. Mavis Davis.
Hello, Marty.
Oh, Mr. Rathbone.
Where you been hiding?
I wasn't.
It's a figure of speech, Marty, that's all.
Mr. Rathbone is losing his patience.
Hello, Manchester. Let's do it! Don't you worry about me. Who do you want? Who you gonna be tonight? Who is it really? Making up your mind. You gotta listen to the man. Pay attention to the magistrate. And when I got you in the mood, it's everybody's game. Got to catch you later. Yes, yes. Give it up and get you a job. I'm alright. Nobody worry about me. Why you got to give me a fight? Can't you just let it be? I'm alright. Yeah. Nobody worry about me. Don't you worry about me. Got to give me a fight. Why don't you just let it be? I'm alright. Nobody worry about me. Why you got to give me a fight? Can't you just let it be? I'm alright. Yeah. Nobody's business. Got to give me a fight. Why don't you just let it be?
I'm Marty Starr. He owns a record company which is doing very badly, and his house has been repossessed, and he's only got one star left on his roster, who's Marla Darland, who's played by Jane Horrocks. Mavis Davis is who Marla Darland is originally, and she was very successful in the early 80s, and then had a dip, and then came back for a little while, and she's really just a sort of gay diva. She doesn't have much of a following anymore, so this is really her last tour. So if I can kill her, then my theory is that a lot of her records will get back in the charts, and there'll be a big revival in her career because she's dead, as happened with Hendrix and Lennon and Kurt Cobain and people like that. If you could just pop her off, then people will buy her records, and so that's what I'm trying to do. That's basically my motivation in the film.
Worse than what? Oh, well, it's true. You were the greatest. Well, you are the greatest. But then you're not really dead, are you? When the hits stopped coming, what did you do? You run crying to your agent? You blame the selfless strivers at your record label? No, sirree. You did the decent thing, didn't you? You checked yourself out. Bam! Dead at 42. Leaving a legacy that's still lovely to learn today. Tribute albums, memorabilia, more tribute albums. Lisa Marie. It's perfect. It's a marketing coup to die for. And you did. God, you're an honest-to-goodness Southern gentleman, Elvis, Aaron. Here's to you. And look what I'm stuck with. I made you Marla Darland. What were you before you met me? Huh? You were nothing. That's the truth. You were just a little speck of plasticine in the shape of a woman. Roughly. But I took you, I molded you, and I put you in the charts. I gave you life, Marla Darland, and I can take it away.
Sure, I'll tell you something. If Marla Darland died tomorrow, we'd be laughing.
What?
Well, I mean, look at this. Cobain, Lennon, Elvis, there's Hendrix, look, all died prematurely and all their record sales rocketed.
Really?
It's tailor-made for me. He's nasty, secretive, jealous. He's prone to all 7 deadly sins. He's lustful. He's a loner. He's spiteful, unpleasant, and very, very sexy.
As soon as this album's out, it'll be back to the good old days. I swear.
You think so?
I know so.
But are people going to go for this new material? I mean, I'm going to be old soon.
Not necessarily.
What do you mean?
Age is just a state of mind.
But a tour. I mean, are we going to be all right?
No, we're not going to be all right. We're going to be fantastic. Remember Aberdeen in '84? 14 encores you had. Shut up. 14 encores you had off an audience of oil riggers, for Christ's sake. You had them fighting for tickets in those days, literally.
I did, didn't I?
And you will again. I know what you're capable of.
If I remember correctly, it was Aberdeen, '84, that we found out what you were capable of.
I don't remember that.
So you think my voice is still...
Golden. I'm telling you, it's golden. While I was sitting in the booth, you can't see, but I could see. I looked in your face, and up there just a while ago, I was...
You were crying?
Yeah.
You were crying there?
I swear to God.
Oh.
You're in your vocal prime. There's no doubt about it.
My vocal prime, yeah. I mean, I haven't been sure, but I felt like my voice has got a new sort of quality.
It's maturity. We have got our hands on the voice that's going to inspire a new generation.
My character, Marty, is pushing his wife off Tower Bridge because she's got... hello, this is the director.
I've got nothing to do.
Is it all right if we give the plot away?
I think it's a very good idea. By the way, your transport sister, right?
Oh, is it? Oh, I'm off. That was the director. He works in comedy, you can probably tell. I'm pushing my wife off the bridge, and she doesn't die. But we've got a stunt woman who's got to dangle off the bridge. I haven't met her yet, but she's very brave. And then Danny comes, who plays Mr. Rathbone, and he rescues her, and he gets his 2 henchmen, Steve O'Donnell and another Daniel, to beat the shit out of me. And that's basically the day's work. I get to work, have my breakfast, push my wife off the cliff, off the bridge, and then listen to a long speech by Danny Aiello, which is great, and then I get beaten up, and then I go home.
I thought you were going to wear the yellow dress.
Went for dusters years back. So what have you got for me?
We'll get to that. Do you remember how I proposed to you? Right here. It's this very bridge. I took your hand. Remember? I lifted you up like this. And I looked deep into your beautiful eyes. Remember what I said? Please, marry me.
Angel face.
Sin. Where did we go wrong? Well, whatever it was, it's behind us now. Sin, I need that award.
And I need my money.
And you'll get it. Come on.
No.
You don't mean that.
Yeah, I do.
Where is it, you ugly cow?
The story of Mavis Davis is basically about a manager and a pop star, and he has created this pop star, and she is turned into a sort of monster, bitch sort of type of woman, and he's broke, and he needs to find money quickly, and he thinks that he'd probably be able to find money quickly if he bumped Mavis Davis off.
I owe you all an apology. There has been a problem with this recording session. It hasn't been your fault. This has been the problem. This chiseler, this anti-artist. This man, and I use the term loosely, is excluded from this studio whilst I am recording. Either you leave or I do.
I think you've got to absolutely believe and understand why Rick's character wants to kill my character. And you do. I mean, she is a monster, and she's like a lot of pop stars are, that you know, incredibly demanding and obnoxious and ruthless.
Non-starred. You look...
I think sensational is the word you're groping for. Nice shirt.
I think how Rick's playing it, you will totally sympathise with his character and understand why. And she's a different person altogether when she's on stage. She's Miss Lovely on stage, you know, she just turns it on for the punters. And when she's off, then she's vile. But I do enjoy playing that because I sort of find that quite difficult to do in real life. So it's quite nice to be able to act being a horror.
And so Marla Darland's 13th British tour gets underway in Manchester, a city she's always claimed has been lucky for her. The tour ends in 2 weeks' time in London. We hope now to get a few words with Marla Darland herself, who, as you can see, has just arrived. Marla, a few words to the viewers.
I love Manchester!
Hello, Manchester.
Let's do it!
I'm playing Rathbone. Rathbone was a person who has been living in England for approximately 20 some odd years. That's my home. It's the mansion that he himself possesses along with his family, his wife and child, and he paid for it. God knows where he got the money to do so, but he is obviously a success. I guess it couldn't have been too woeful because he's not in jail. He's not incarcerated, so I guess he's done some legitimate things, but I also feel that he might have been helped along to this point because of his early activities in life, which might have been unlawful. But never with drugs. This man is one who puts down drugs, might have been stealing in real estate, opening up safes, robbing banks without guns, or something. Hello, Marty.
Oh, Mr. Rathbone.
Where you been hiding?
I wasn't.
It's a figure of speech, Marty, that's all.
Oh, sorry.
How you been? Busy?
Yeah, very, very.
Good. Stay there, I'll be right down. You can tell me all about it.
Right. Thanks so much.
The scene I was shooting this afternoon is a scene, oh God, it's so difficult to... It's the beginning of a scene where I am explaining to the man Marty, who is played by Rick Mayall, that I expect a conclusion to an arrangement that he and I had. And the arrangement is very simply that he is going to make my son a rock star as big as George Michael within a year. Now, I think that's possible. I have no idea, but he said it to me. It's my agent. He's in the van. No, the hell with him. So what it is that I'm here to clean that up and to ask why he hasn't progressed as quickly as I would hope. And he's being threatened at this moment. I summoned him to my home. He didn't come on his own, so I sent a couple of my friends to get him. He has dedicated his entire life to his son and would do anything for his son.
Who's got the biggest badge on? If you wanna form a band.
How's it going, Jeff? Jeff here gave up mixing for the Stones to come to us.
Whoa. Isn't that right, Jeff?
So, what do you think of all this?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I have to tell you, I've honestly, in all my experience, never, ever seen such raw talent.
Did you hear that, Jeff? Raw talent, he says. So what I'm wondering is, with all this raw talent and this raw material, where's my finished product?
If you lived in London, yeah.
I play Paul Rathbone, who's Danny Aiello's son. Danny Aiello's a bit of a wheeler-dealer type who's owed a lot of money by Rick Mayall's part, who's a record producer. And Danny Aiello gets this idea to have his son become a star, for Rick Mayall to produce him. Just instead of owing him the money, he can make his son a star, regardless of his lack of talent. And that's what happens.
Okay, guys, take a break.
I think I can do one more, man.
Guys, please, take a break.
We had an arrangement. As big as George Michael within a year, you said.
Yeah, well, George did go very quiet there for a while.
Now look. He's a good boy, my Paul. And what interests him interests me.
I understand that.
Danny Aiello, he actually came and saw Tommy on Saturday night because he wanted to ease my embarrassment, because in this film I have to sing really badly. And I think he thought it would help if he came along and saw me sing properly.
Let me try and explain my strategy as regards Paul's band.
Blank. Blank.
Oh, right, blank. Yeah, sorry. I forgot the... Right, blank. Yes, silly. Oh, we're looking at a long career arc here, you know? I mean, for God's sake, we don't want blank to be the aha of the 90s.
Uh-huh.
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 Exactly. No, we want Paul to be around and in the charts for another, 10, 20, 30 years. So, I'm going with the stage rollout of the first single, territory by territory, gradually building up a truly international profile. Mr. Rathbone. It gives me the greatest pleasure to be able to tell you that as we speak, your son, Paul, is probably the biggest selling recording artiste in Belize.
Belize?
That's right. Blank has broken in Belize, and broken big.
Are we talking about the country in Central America whose major economic activity is the export of bananas?
I believe so.
The former British Honduras, independent since 1981, with an area of 8,867 square miles and a population of 214,000.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's a start. But frankly, for the kind of money you're into me for, I think it's time you got me a result in England.
America would be cool too.
Fantastic, Mr. Rathbone. I think so. And I'm no expert, I'm just his father. Give me Wagner any day. A little bit of Lloyd Webber every now and again, not too much.
And cut it. Pretty good.
So it's a surprise to hear the man talk in detail about things that ordinary people wouldn't know. So he made him different than any other character that I had played before. Therefore, very interesting, quirky, opposites. And I said, yes, I'll do it.
Seagull in the engine. Mark, 202, take 5. You and action.
Here you are. Here you are. Yeah. A pretty girl like you deserves to be treated right. Now, if you don't mind excusing us, I'd like a private word with Marty here.
No, Sin. Don't.
You know something, Marty? Last night I worked out that I have now spent more of my life here in England than Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I think about that, and I say, hell yes. England is a fine country. England has given the world great men, men with balls. Francis Drake, Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher. And then I start thinking about the Englishmen I meet every day, the ones I do business with, you know, like, for example, you.
See if there's anywhere interesting.
Do you need to come back, track back a tiny bit to your left, do you think, at the same time? This scene we're doing today is a scene where Rick Mayall's character has been beaten up and he finds himself in bed and is visited by an assassin that he has hired already in the picture, and discovers at this moment that the assassin has actually got another contract which is on him. So that's what we do today. It involves two men and a coconut.
Order.
Hello.
How you feeling?
Well, how do I look?
You look like shit, Mr. Starr.
Well, there you go.
I brought you something.
Marla's head, I hope.
No. Coconut.
Thank you so much.
It's a bit awkward.
Well, come on. Spit it out.
I've accepted another contract.
Well, congratulations.
On you.
What do you mean you've accepted another contract on me? It's Rathbone, isn't it?
Don't worry. It's not operative yet.
Well, when does it become operative?
After the Marla Darland tour, and only then if you won't pay Mr. Rathbone the money you owe him. So you see, there's really no reason why this should interfere with our professional relationship.
Oh, yeah? You're fired. I'll do it myself.
There's no need for that.
Stay away from me!
Look, you're upset. But there's no need to be. I fulfill my contracts. All of them. So maybe you should be upset.
Well, I first heard about it, I was rung up by the Mission. They sent me a script, which I read, which seemed to me the most extraordinary thing I'd read in a long time. Because I was supposed to be making a film for Paramount at the time, and which was a sort of very normal, actually I could call it normal, action adventure comedy piece. Very sort of formulaic, if you like. And this thing arrived, and it was like a total breath of fresh air, because people actually died, and yet it was a comedy. And I loved it. I thought it was really good. I thought, in fact, the only thing I felt about it was that there wasn't enough sympathy for the main character, and there wasn't a sort of through love story, and there wasn't a sort of, the philosophy wasn't totally sorted, but it was very funny. And then I heard that Rick Mayall was going to be attached to it, and I love him. I think he's terrific. So to me, that was the big hook. So then I came in and I talked to the guys, and they seemed to respond to what I wanted to do. And I loved what they'd done, so it was great. So it went from there. If you come in on that line, it's kind of okay. If you come in from the top, it's a drunk old fart coming to bother you.
A bit sensitive at first, but then...
The main thing that John has brought to the film is he's turned something that was a good comedy, a good action comedy, he's turned it into something where you care about the characters, and you will actually cry in this film as well as laugh, which he said is crucial. And we didn't quite believe him in the beginning, but as it's progressed, we've understood exactly what he meant. And you care about these characters, and as the film comes to its resolution, you're going to go away completely satisfied. And I think he's given real heart to what was before a black comedy. So it's a black comedy with lots of love.
Well, to me, what I added, I don't know about adding, but what I like to do with everything I make is, you know, the most important thing is that myself and the audience, we all relate to our main characters. I think you've got to love them. You've got to want to put your arms around them and go with them all the way through. I mean, some of the great actors, like Harrison Ford and people like that, having a curious vulnerability, which allows you to sort of think, oh God, yeah, go Harrison. You know, he's all right. He's not a threat to me. I like him. You know, he faces 500 people and he goes shit, you know, because they are a threat to him. And I felt that the script at the moment, none of the characters were vulnerable. And I felt that also this story should be about people wanting to move from an ordered, normal, happy life, which we're all supposed to live in the provinces and suburbia and everywhere else where I was brought up. And they wanted to move into this world of showbiz and craziness and strangeness. And they would have been a lot happier as they were originally. So I felt there was an arc to be put in the film which wasn't there, which was these two characters, the boy and girl next door, Ken Baggs and Mavis Davis, who changed their names, went into the glamorous world as Marla Darland and Marty Starr, and created this and had this sort of terrible Torval and Dean relationship with each other, where it was a love-hate thing and things were going horribly wrong, and they only actually found true happiness at the end of the picture by actually going back to their own roots of being Ken and Mavis again. And I thought, well, I kind of understand that, coming from the same background, so I thought that was good.
I think it's been a long time since there's been a comedy about the rock industry. I think probably Spinal Tap is the last one that I can remember. But in a way, we didn't start out to do a comedy about the rock industry. We think the rock industry is always a great place to set any film. It was really that the relationship between a record producer and an artist, it's an interesting relationship, partly because it is one of the few ones where having your artist dead is particularly good news. And it was really exploring that relationship, the idea of who owns who made who. And I think that is very, I mean, that's one thing that drives the film. Did Marty make Marla, or would Marla have been a star anyway? I think that's actually what interested us, and that's really, you know, the whole.
Well, the other thing about the rock and roll industry as well is that you're in and you're out very fast. It's got the peaks and the troughs, and obviously that's good news for comedy. Yeah. So we can really show, you know, Marty and Ken Baggs, you know, right at the top of the fame, right down again.
what's going to surprise people is this is Rick Mayall as they've never seen him before. He looks, he looks like Bruce Willis.
Or Gaza.
Or Gaza, depending which way, depending if you want to upset him or flatter him. But this is a very, very different Rick Mayall, and he's not the manic lunatic Rick Mayall that I think a lot of people have seen before. He's an absolute dude in this.
I think in a way, it's as even more, but like when he moved from Young Ones to New Statesman, suddenly he showed he could be a character.
Yeah.
That wasn't always dropping his trousers or whatever. This is going to be moving into a screen persona.
It's definitely a Rick Mayall that an audience hasn't seen before, but retaining that essential magic that Rick always brings with him.
Rick is unique in Britain in that he's the only guy I know who can be a bastard and still be lovable. And that is worth $1 million.
Love your stuff too.
Yeah, your stuff's really great.
You really think so?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's great, because I was wondering if you might be interested in producing one of my next album.
Yeah?
If he came, that sort of thing, yeah, mate.
Jane Horrocks. I just think she's an extraordinary character. She has an incredible ability to take on any role. And here, I mean, she wowed everybody doing the singing and the dance. I mean, blew everybody off the stage. It's all her own voice. And she looks fantastic. There are various threats that are put upon Rick's character throughout this picture. There is a threat of an ex-wife who's sort of after his wallet, if you like to put it that way. There is a threat of a policeman who is in danger of putting him in jail. There are a threat of two heavies who could break his bones. But the real threat had to be something bigger than all that. So what I really wanted was a totally believable man who was a villain in the bigger sense, not like a comic heavy at all. I mean, this is played quite straight, this film. And I kept looking around all the English actors, and I couldn't see anybody who really would give me that. And I suddenly thought, wow, well, why not? When we were talking about having an American Marla for a time, I thought, well, I don't want an American Marla, it's an English story. But an American Rathbone is not a bad idea at all. And I thought about the people, and I seen Danny Aiello in City Hall, and he was just fantastic, and he had that ability. And I couldn't believe it when he said he wanted to do it, which is wonderful, because, he doesn't normally do this.
Excuse me, is there a Mr. John Henderson here?
And I think another thing about Danny is he's hung like a horse.
Does he know
That's the thing they don't know
that
about
this
him.
is my home? And they have cameras all over it. Lights, this is my home.
That's
It's a place of privacy.
And that's your aeroplane.
Privacy, isn't it? I'm sorry to disturb you, sir. He's great, I love this guy.
I play a character called Percy Stone, who is an agent who spans a period from the late 70s through to the present day. A great survivor, obviously very clever, very sharp, very smooth. He's not gone through the same problems as Marty. He's put himself about a bit. He has many clients in different fields. But he's always been a great supporter of Marla, and his intention in the film is to re-galvanise her career, and he's very much in rivalry with Marty.
Very good, Marla.
Percy, nice to see you. I didn't know you were coming.
Just the way I like to catch them. I'm an agent.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, Marty. Sorry, go ahead.
No, after you.
No, you first.
Come on, go ahead.
Come on, Marty.
I'm here. Percy, you talk. Marty, you listen.
Well, I was just going to apologise for being a little late.
Oh, don't be silly. Not at all.
No, well, we had this meeting over at Cocoon Records,
Good meeting?
Depends on your point of view. Look, straight up, no messing about. They want Marla. They think, no, they know that they can get their sales moving again.
Yeah, but Marla's with me.
Is she?
For various reasons, it's mistakenly been made public that Marty is gay, which she isn't. And that scene was simply about them saying it's okay, you can come to terms with it. If I say more than that, it'll spoil the plot.
Ready, and action.
Marty!
Sorry, I better start again. Sorry.
You want to wait us to wait till you do
I got to tell you what I got to do. I got to press this. I got to come here. I got to think few. Then I got to hear you. I got to go. Oh fuck! And then I got to smile and turn.
Here we go then.
What's to do this,
And action.
Marty!
Okay, now I know what you must be thinking.
Oh, Marty, you should have said something. I could have helped you through it. I've been out since '82.
Well, thanks, Percy, but look, you've got it all wrong.
I want you to know that I understand.
Yeah, but you don't.
Oh, yes, I do. I've always had a big gay following, so I suppose it stands to reason.
Marla.
And the fact that you've had to suppress your true nature for so long goes some of the way towards explaining your little personality problems.
I can see we're going to have a nice, long chat soon.
Right. Whatever. Marla. Marla. You know I'm not gay.
On what evidence?
Aberdeen, 84.
As I remember it, I'd say that was pretty inconclusive. Bye.
He's one of several catalysts, one of several pressures of things that are moving in on Marty that cause him to, as it were, explode.